Welcome back. I am still on a release candidate. I'm not on the full release, but I am in the calm before the storm of the full 120 release. First of all, thank you for all your erudite comments on my last video where I was trying to describe my understanding of upheaval. There are some fantastic comments there. Mine was a very simplistic view. Guys, if you want to learn more about it, read the comments. My favourite comment was from Nephelangelo, who said that upheaval is like a cat crawling under a rug. Love it, absolutely love it. Now, as I said, I'm in the calm before the storm. When I'm preparing for a new map, there are certain things I do. I've already done a video where I've gone through my customization. So the first thing I sort out is the customization, and I do a list to myself of what customization I want. Then I start looking at seeds, and I found a good seed that looks interesting but also a bit challenging. Let's not make it too easy. When I look for seeds, there are two things I always check. The first is whether there are reeds, and you may not believe this, but I actually once started a world where there were no reeds, and I travelled days in either direction and I couldn't find reeds. And basically, if you're in a, I think it must have been a glitch, but if you're in a world with no reeds, you are absolutely stuffed, because you can't make baskets, you cannot increase your inventory, you can't get bees, and I mean not just reeds, there was no papyrus either. So it was a really bad glitch. So I always check that there are reeds. And the next thing I check is that there's limestone or chalk. Now this may seem a fairly, sit down for a minute, this may seem a fairly obvious thing to check. Oh look, I'm like a yoga swami, I'm lifting gently off the surface. There are a couple of things that you might find extremely useful if you want to check a world. What you don't want to do is to go into a world that looks really promising and then find that while you're checking whether it's got reeds and a bit of limestone or chalk, even a bit is all you need, to find that you've sort of a month into the game before you finish checking. So what I do is I go to T, let's get this. Hello, we've stopped a bit. Let's get out of here. Hello, come on. Ooh, I've frozen. Interesting. Look, stop. I can move. I can't move forward or back. Oh, wow. I have frozen. I can't press shift, press anything, any button, come on. No, I've got myself stuck. Okay, I can't get to T, I can't get to F4, W doesn't work, G doesn't work, F doesn't work. Wonderful. Control shift no. Wow. I'm going to have to, can I press escape? Yes. Oh, thank God for that. Right. Yes, you can see I was pressing everything down here. Right, let's just leave this world and come back and see if that cures it. Here we go. Let's see if this cures that. Fancy getting stuck. Message to self, guys. Do not sit down in 120. You may never get up again. Come on, return again. Yes, please. Can we return standing up, or will I still be sitting down? Don't tell me my world's going to come to a crashing halt because I can't stand up. That would be too bizarre for words. No, that can't. Isn't this picture beautiful, by the way? I want to know how they've chiselled this chair. Right. Oh, good. Oh, my word. Yes, we are back. Oh, my goodness. Oh. Hello. I've got that one out by mistake. Right, well. And it is just dawn. Woo! Now, the windmills are turning, but time is not moving. The elk is screaming at me as usual. But can you see this is all very, very calm? Nothing is really moving. And that's because I went into tea and I did a slash, time, space, stop. Time stopped. That actually stops your time. And so if you want to look at a world, the world is not progressing. Day is not going, crops are not growing, nothing is happening apart from the windmills turning. But what you are finding is that you have time to look around the world. The next thing I do is to go into game mode 2, and that takes me into creative. And that means that I can come up, I can fly around, I can see what I've got around me. So, and then shift will take me down, of course. I press double space to go up, shift to come down. A lot of you will know this. When you want to come out of that, you just do game mode 1 with a slash in front of it. We're back in survival. And if we want the time to go, you would do time, slash first time, space, resume. Okay, and the time is resumed. Can you see that the grass is now moving again? Yeah? Huh. So that's how I look round worlds before I start. And it's quite a useful thing to do. It's incredibly important now to make sure that you will have a source of lime or chalk that is reasonably available. I'm not talking about on your doorstep, but it's good to know it's in the world at all. One of the worlds I spawned was absolutely beautiful. It was a flat plain below a mountain, facing south. The rock was andesite. There was a ruined andesite village I could have taken over. It was in a jungle area, so it was lush and green and gorgeous. But on top of that, it had bauxite near it, and it had granite. It was beautiful. I quickly did a check. There were plenty of reeds. I started to look for lime. I started to look for limestone or chalk. Absolutely nothing. I went days in creative. Nothing. I just could not find any. And there are worlds where you just get a little bit here and a little bit there. You don't get whole sections, but you do get them. And the other word of advice I would give is I use the coloured map. You have a choice of maps. You have the standard map or you have the coloured map. Now, when you have a coloured map, you can see what the rocks are. So you can see where you've got this rock, which is shale. You can see where you've got, this happens to be conglomerate rock, which is where you would look for your coals. You've got peridotite up here. That's limestone. You can see the bauxite. So even just looking at the map, you can see what sort of rocks you've got. And I find that incredibly helpful, so I tend to use that map. So having had a good look around, one of the things I am very conscious about is that these days, even something like a quern, you can only make it out of granite, andesite, basalt or peridotite. So as long as you've got one of these 4 rocks near you, you're fine. But you have to have a hammer and a chisel to even make a quern. So in the past you could make bread quite easily before you got to the sort of hammer and chisel stage. You just had to get 4 bits of rock and a couple of sticks. Then you could grind your flour, or you could grind your wheat, for example, into flour, and you could then easily make a far clay oven, right, which you can't make now easily, but you could then make bread. But now, to make far clay, here we go, yeah, far clay, you can find it, but you can also make it. Now, finding it's going to be difficult. It's normally deeper now, under layers of coal or something like that. And to make it, you have to have powdered calcinated flint. Now, to powder flint, you need a quern, but also to calcinate it, you need to burn it, and it used to take a long time. There have been lots of complaints about the time it took to burn flint, so that has been shortened. But because you need flint to make far clay, again, the game has slightly slowed down in the early stages, so it's going to be very, very interesting to play it. I don't have a problem with these changes. So because you need lime to make leather, and that means that backpacks, armour, a lot of things are dependent on lime, and also certain bricks you make may need lime. You really do need to make sure that you have a source of lime. It's no use thinking you can make enough lime from shells. It's not going to work. You need to find even small lime deposits or chalk deposits. You don't need whole deserts, but you do need lime. You will find flint. I'm glad they've shortened the calcinating time for flint, but you will find flint everywhere. That's not going to be a problem. Lime is the thing you must have. We're all waiting with bated breath to dive into 120, and the great temptation is just to dive in, start the world, and if you're not careful, you'll watch it disintegrate. So I would leave it a day, maybe even 2 days. This is one of the biggest updates we've ever had, and I think they're going to find something that really does need addressing in the first couple of days. So the day it drops, don't expect me to dash in. For me, this would be map 6, and I don't start new worlds very often. So I've had to remember what you do when you start a world. And I have actually started a world and played for a couple of days just to remember what you have to do. It's things like you need a fire starter. It's basic, but we do need it, guys. And it's absolutely fascinating how much you forget, but also how much has changed. And that also needs remembering. Do remember how much has changed. So it's, in my view, it was worth starting a world and just playing for a couple of days. And I've done myself a huge list of basics I'm going to need so that I don't forget anything obvious, like grass. Oh dear. So, as I said, I am so excited about starting a new world. It will only be map 6 for me. So I look forward to going on that amazing journey. I'm looking forward to really playing 120 and seeing how it plays out. I'm looking forward to all the new things they've put in. I'm looking forward to watching how I can get to an anvil as quickly as possible so that I can get a saw and a chisel and actually get going in the game, and also getting a food supply going. So it's all going to be quite fantastic to start with. I hope you join me on that journey. Goodbye, my friends.